Welcome to Kitty Talks. We share inspirational life stories that inspire you to create yours. And today I have with me Farida Akadiri. Welcome.
Hello, Kitty.
Hello. Hello, Kitty. I love it when people say that.
Yeah. And I didn't even mean that. So funny.
Oh, Farida, thank you so much for joining us all the way from Paris.
Yes, I'm so excited. Thank you for the invitation.
And for those of you that don't know, Farida is a motivational speaker and leadership expert, and her mission is to inspire people to live their greatness, which is beautiful. So thank you for coming on today. I'm very excited to hear your journey because you and I have spoken previously, and the life you've manifested and created for yourself is fantastic. So would you mind sort of sharing with our audience a little bit about what you do in the world at the moment?
Yeah, sure. I'm really excited to be here. And as I mentioned, for me today, I realized that my dream really became my mission. It's really to inspire people to understand how powerful they are, all the potential they have, and to express their greatness. And I realized that in today's society, it's something really challenging today because sometimes you grow up in an environment that was not supportive of you, or the media is constantly focusing on the negative part. Mm-hmm. So for me, as a speaker and also a coach, it's really to create that environment where people feel safe to dream again, feel safe to believe in themselves again, and to achieve things they never thought would be possible because of all these baggage or environment. And that's really what motivates me. It's, when you can see someone just transforming, becoming the leader, the inspiration in their family, in their community, not specifically by achieving great things, but just becoming who they are really and becoming that example that other people want to follow. And it's really, that's my mission today. Help people, especially I work with entrepreneurs. So because I think entrepreneurs have another mindset where they understand that to grow their business, they have to grow themselves. And that's how we can see the result because they are growing their businesses, but at the same time, they're achieving greater fulfillment in their personal life because they are becoming a better version of themselves. Mm-hmm. And that's just amazing to watch and also to be part of it.
Wonderful. Yeah, one of my favorite expressions, Farida, is magic is believing in yourself. If you can do that, you can do anything.
Yeah, definitely. And to add that, you have to create the right environment around you to be able to believe in you every single day because, life is full of ups and downs. And sometimes it's really hard to believe in you because you have been through challenges and you take the wrong decision, you had some failures. So sometimes you can doubt yourself. But when you have created that successful environment around you, it's so easy to come up because now you can use that system to help you remotivate, recommit, and move on. And that's how you continue the magic.
Yeah, well, you're so right. It's so important to have a kind of committed community around you who, hold your vision of being a successful entrepreneur and believe in you because I think human beings, we do need to have that validation. So it's really important that we have a really supportive community around us. So I love the work you're doing. I really love the work you're doing. And I'd love for you to describe your journey because so how long now have you been speaking English? How many years?
5 years fluently, and I was not destined to do what I'm doing. When I share my story, people are just amazed because they just don't understand. I have been working in finance for over 12 years. I was working for major companies and really, try to go to companies, audit the system, their finances. So completely on the opposite of personal growth and transformation. And I was mostly, in a French environment, so not really practicing the English that I learned at school. So I completely lost it. I was not really able, I could read, but it's not the same thing, when you can read English and really be able to communicate your ideas, your emotion, your inspiration. And I remember 5 years ago, I took an English test and I failed because my level of English were just not enough. And but the thing is, at that same period of time, is I was going through a very tough moment in my life. I was engaged, and on Valentine's Day, he decided to stop the relationship. And I discovered that 1 month later, he married someone else. So I was just shocked. It's like I felt like the whole world just crashed on me.
Yeah. And was that Valentine's Day? Oh my goodness, what a day.
Yeah.
And
it was 2010, and it was just, I couldn't speak. I could do nothing for many weeks. I was just the ghost of myself, and I had no tools because at that time I didn't know personal development. I never read any books. It was just some random books once every 2 or 3 years. And, for me, when I graduated from my business school, it was, I'm done with studying. It's enough. I don't want to read any books. That's it. No, nothing more. So I had no tools, nothing. How I'm going to be able to come back, And that's most people challenges is when life hits you and you don't have the tools, you don't have the techniques, you feel desperate. And people do crazy things when they are desperate. And that's why for me today, it's beyond my dream. It's really my mission. It's really to share that so that people, when they're gonna face those hard moments in life, for me, it was relationship, but for some other people, it can be the loss of someone, health, bankruptcy. It can have many forms or shapes. Don't be desperate. There's something bigger behind this huge setback. But it took me years. And during that years, I decided that I wanted to do an MBA, change my life. And that's how I started my journey because I had to learn English. So I had that English speaker and she introduced me to personal development.
And would you say now, because obviously hindsight is a wonderful thing, like, when you look back on that moment now, would you say that was almost like, at the time, it probably felt like your world was collapsing, but actually it was a catalyst. So even though on the outside it looked like a bad thing, actually possibly the best thing that could have ever happened.
Yeah, today I say it was a blessing. Thank you to this guy because he opened up something new from me because now I had to think by myself. I had to design the vision I wanted for me. And I love this quote by Oprah. She said, if you don't have a plan for yourself, you will be always part of someone else's plan. And I realized that we have plans for the future because we were a couple and that's what we wanted to create. But the day he changed his plan because I had no plan for myself, I had nothing to hang on. That's why I was just so desperate and feeling empty because I didn't know who I was, what I'm going to doing with my life, all the plans. And that's the most difficult. So that's why it's really so important to have a vision because when you are, when everything is just horrible, it's that vision that's going to help you recommit. Help you keep that focus, not about your current circumstances, but that tomorrow it's going to be better, that what you are going through right now is just temporary. It's not for the whole life. And when I see my life, it has been a complete, turnaround. It was just temporary for me to understand how it's important to have my own vision for myself first. And that's how I started. I was just working on myself. Try to rebuild myself, my self-esteem, my self-love, my self-confidence. And it took time because, it's a process that I never done before. And when you have those defining moments, also it crushes you. But you have to rebuild yourself in a different way. Who do you want to become? And it's friends who came to me because they were in turn going through divorces and and they came to me and asked me, what did you do, Farida, to come back, to be now this beacon of light and being very smiling, positive, optimistic, because we saw you when you were just the ghost of yourself. So because they saw me change, they came to ask me for advice. And I remember that day, one friend, she called me and said, wow, each time I'm speaking with you, I feel re-energized. I don't have that when I talk to my psychiatrist. And, it was like a defining moment because I realized that I was sharing all those advice that I learned, that I studied for years for free, when they were paying for other people who were not able to give them the same results
they needed. Yeah. So what happened? So what happened next? So by the sounds of things, you obviously went into a bit of a black hole and a dark place when the relationship ended. You said it took you a couple of years to pull yourself out. How did you manage to kind of, pull yourself out of the dark pit?
But when I look back, I think first is to create an environment where you're gonna have people supporting you, but not just oh, it's gonna be fine, because everyone was like, yeah, but it's just a breakup, it's gonna be fine, you're gonna meet someone else. But at that moment, it's not what I was feeling deep inside of me. So I needed tools, to be able to manage my emotions. So that's how I learned different kind of techniques, TFT, EFT, really to be able to work on my emotions. And then I had to, when I met my first coach, she was really helping me to start having goals. Because, if you don't have goals, it's hard to wake up and go to work. And at the same time, I was feeling empty also, that I'm going to work, but there is no.
So how did it come about? Because I'm really intrigued. Like, how did you discover personal development? Like, was there a specific book? Did it kind of fall into your life, or what was the event that kind of shifted?
So when I met this English teacher, because I wanted to go back to school and to do an MBA, so I hired her to help me with my English first. And then, and she was also a life coach. So basically, she realized that I was completely messed up. She said, okay, you need to work on yourself. It was completely new for me. And it was another world. And my first book she made me read was As a Man Thinketh. And look, As a Man Thinketh, when you read this book, it's a very old book, so it's all English. I barely understand English. And I don't understand. She said, no, it's okay, just read it. That's how you're gonna learn English. So she made me read old books in English, just, she said, just read it. And, I was interested. So, and then I keep going, starting to watch videos on YouTube, Zig Ziglar, Les Brown, and Bob Proctor. And then I heard about the movie The Secret. And that was the moment. It was like, what? This world exists, really? Like, people are really creating their dream life? Because for me, in my mind, it was more like, there are some categories of people. If you are born in the right family, in the right country, you can have that.
You are privileged.
Exactly. You are spiritual, you are privileged. Otherwise, you're going to have, a middle class life. You're going to go, and that was my vision. I was like, I'm going to succeed, but maybe be in a big companies until I retire. But I never thought that I could have a fulfilling life, like feeling alive, not just going, working. So when I watched the movie, I was almost in tears because for the first time, I was hearing this group of people telling that it was possible not just to go day by day, but really to create something meaningful for you.
And I know you've had a really amazing experience that I'd love you to share with our audience, because you talk about the secret, you talk about manifesting, you talk about creating your life. Can you give us an example of something where you've understood that and then you've used that and then what's happened in your life?
Yeah. And I remember when I watched this movie, deep in my heart, I want to share that with maximum of people, because since nobody taught me about that movie, it means that in my environment, nobody is thinking this way. Yeah. So there was a problem for me. There was like, no, people have to know. Then you decide what you want to do with that, but at least know that it exists. And I told myself one day I'm going to do a movie. But for me, it was, 20 years from now. It was a very a long-term vision, because, I have to build myself. I had to start living my own dreams. And so that's how I continue doing personal development, starting, small businesses and things like that. And one day, life is amazing, because they said, big dreams come and is looking for you. And I remember I quit my job and decided to do full-time my coaching business. And a friend of mine called me and said, yeah, let's go to the US. We have that amazing training seminar. And I was like, yes, no, should I go? It's a lot of money. I say, no, just do it. It's what you want. And at that time, I met this woman. She was a producer. And a couple months later, I went to the US again, and we had a conversation like, right now, who you are, tell me about your story. So I started sharing my journey, what happened, how I just started to create another life for myself, and helping also other people. And because of my background, because I'm originally from Benin, I grew up in 6 different countries before moving to Paris.
Wow.
I have been in Paris, yeah. Mostly in Africa. So, for people who are not used to that, it was just amazing.
Yeah.
To see me at my own age and doing all of that. And she said, wow, it has been 2 years and you are the perfect expert. I'm looking for my movie. Are you interested? It's going to be with Brian Tracy, John Ashraf, Michael Beckwith. I was like, are you kidding me?
I bet you kind of think yourself like, this is real.
Say that again. And it's funny because John Ashraf, Michael Beckwith was the same experts that were in the movie The Secret. So it was to see that not only my vision happened in less than 20 years, it happened in 5 years, but, I saw myself doing a French movie. And now I was in an English movie with the best celebrity of personal development and the same I watched in the movie The Secret.
And what's the film called?
The Secrets of the Keys.
Oh, The Secret
of the Keys. It's a award-winning movie for best concept, and now he's distributed by the same company who has distributed The Secret. And for me, that's how when you are true with yourself, when you are in alignment, it's really like life is opening doors beyond your own imagination. Honestly, expect the fact that, I sent that message, I had that intention. I didn't plan what I was doing on a daily basis to achieve that, My goal was become the best version of yourself. Work on you every day and help others doing that. And that's how, that's why for me, I say invest in yourself. We are our best strategy. Our strategy is not your marketing, your advertisement, your website. Your best strategy is you, because we are the product. And when we invest in ourselves, it's open up opportunities that we couldn't. If I had planned to meet her, it was a big seminar with 800 people coming from all over the world.
No,
how would I not? But God has this way to put the right people, circumstances at the right place when it is right for you.
So one of the things that we're doing with these interviews is by sharing your life story where you've had the courage to, because you did take courage to change your whole path, start doing, you know, a completely different job, leave your company, set up your own business. You know, one of the things we're doing with these interviews is to encourage people to follow their passion and purpose. And because then, you know, like you've just described, amazing things can open up and line up. So you mentioned about being the best version of yourself. Is that something that you'd encourage others to invest in themselves?
Definitely. You know what? I had so many behind the scenes to share, but for 3 years straight, every 2 months, I was in the US for a major training. I was spending 2 days, 3 days just to be trained by the best. Every day, I was listening to audios 24 hours a day. It was just crazy because there is no shortcut for success. Sometimes it's not, you know, I believe in the law of attraction, believe in all of that, but it's happened only when you show yourself, you show life, you show universe, you show God that you are committed. And how you show that you are committed? Self-discipline. I was working every day. I remember I had my headphones when I was going to work, and I was listening just to personal development in English. My first coaching, I did it in English. You know, my coach, she was an English person, and all my team members, you know, they had to keep up with me because my English was not that good at that time. But I was committed to learn from the best because the difference between American speakers or English speakers and French speakers is the level of motivation and inspiration. I didn't find someone here in France who was able to give me that inspiration and motivation to get out of my comfort zone, try doing the uncomfortable things to make my dreams come true. And I had to change my environment. I changed my friends. I say, yeah, you have to start being with the people who want you to succeed and who want to support you, not just friends who just want to go out, have a drink, and have fun. I had to change my way of thinking, start believing in myself, not waiting for other people to tell you that you are great. Tell yourself you are great. And at the beginning, it was not easy, but I'm still doing that today. And that's really, for me, the key for success. Even though you may not have goals right now, but just work on yourself. And there are so many books. And one of them is The Magic of Thinking Big by David Schwartz. Start reading this one because it's going to help you think bigger, but also stop making excuses for not succeeding. Stop making excuses. Oh, I'm a woman, I'm Black, I'm young, it's too late, or whatever. Stop that and just make a decision. And when you do that, it's really like life is opening amazing doors.
Yes,
and that's accessible for everyone. But sometimes we are too afraid to commit to our dreams.
Yeah, it's a really good point because I think it's so easy, isn't it, to hide behind labels or to, you know, it's everybody else's fault. It's not necessarily our own, you know, as soon as we take that power back and we get that accountability and, you know, we might not, sometimes it's difficult, isn't it? Because you might have had hard stuff happen in your life. But if you take that...
Definitely, and I'm not saying it was an easy journey, and I would lie to you if I'm saying that, but rewarding because today I'm able to take 100% responsibility for everything in my life, the good one and the bad one. And it's fine. You know, sometimes I messed up. I said, okay, you're going to do great tomorrow. Just move on. And that's how you have to have this inner conversation with yourself, you know, how I can be, how, you know, every day I can be the best version of myself. And it's not about being perfect. It's just being the best you can be right now in the moment.
And what advice, because obviously our listeners are, by listening to these interviews, they're gaining the inspiration and the courage to step into their, I suppose, their best selves, their best version of themselves. What advice would you have for somebody who doesn't know what their passion and purpose is at the moment, but through listening to these interviews is thinking, oh, I want a different life, you know?
Yeah. You know, For me, I discovered that I have over 30 years old, and I was always amazed by people who, since the age of 5 or 10, they knew they're going to become a pilot, a doctor, a chef. But it's okay. Sometimes let the passion find you. And for the passion to come and find you, you have to put yourself out there. So do things that bring you joy. That's it. And for me, personal development was bringing me joy. I didn't expect to become who I am today and going to the United Nations, going to Austria, Canada, and give these talks in front of a lot of people. I didn't expect that. But I discovered that that was my passion, to be able to understand myself and try to become the best version of myself and to teach that to other people. So when you try things that bring you joy, one day you're going to find something that you say, you know what, this thing, I can do it for all my life. I can be paid or not paid. I know I can do it. It brings me joy. I want to do it. That's it, period. And it can take you years. It's okay. That's not a problem. Everything happens on perfect timing. But just try the things that bring you joy. You need to have that passion, that enthusiasm. And for that to happen, you have to work on yourself. Start with small goals. Start, with having a coach to help you discover who you are. What are your gifts, your talents? What are you good at? And then you'll be able to mix all of that. I remember for many years, I thought, oh, you did 12 years in finance, and now you are moving through personal development. But at the same time, I feel the way to mix both of them. That's why today I work with entrepreneurs, because I have been able to work with those big companies for 12 years. So I understand the mindset. My purpose was not there because I didn't have the human potential part. But now with the personal development, I'm able to channel that and have entrepreneurs be successful in their business because I have the technical part, but also I have the mindset. But it takes time and it's okay. And it's a journey. And probably maybe tomorrow I'm going to do something else.
Thank you so much for listening to Kitty Talks. Be sure to head over to our kittytalks.com website and become a member of our exclusive club, and you'll get free interviews and access to our private Facebook group, exclusive webinars and secret success interviews. See you there.